Ansari companion of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was perhaps Abdurrahman ibn Auf radiyallahu anhu. And the wealthiest Muhajir companion of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was Uthman bin Affan radiyallahu anhu. Both were known for their generosity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had blessed them with abundance of wealth, and they always spent that wealth generously in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Once, an entire caravan of camels, according to one report, there were 700 of camels loaded with commercial merchandise. They were arriving into Medina from Syria. So that created a lot of noise, as this was a huge caravan that was coming into Medina with a lot of commercial merchandise. So there was a lot of noise going on. So the beloved wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Aisha radiallahu anha, inquired about the cause of that noise. And she was informed that this is the commercial caravan of Abdurrahman ibn Auf that is just arriving into Medina. And there are 700 camels fully laden with commercial goods, commercial merchandise. So Aisha radiallahu anha said, I heard Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say that Abdurrahman bin Auf will enter into Jannah while he will be on his knees. So someone went to inform Abdurrahman bin Auf radiallahu anhu about this, and he said, well, I would like to enter into Jannah walking on my feet, not on my knees. So he was told that he should spend generously in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the more wealth you have, the more liability you have. Having wealth will subject you to more reckoning, more accountability, and more accounting. Only the rich people get the audits from IRS. If you're making $30,000, $20,000 a year, IRS will not care about auditing you. There's no point of auditing someone who's living on minimum wage. They're not going to get anything out of that. But if you're making millions, then yes, IRS is interested to find out why aren't you paying your share of taxes. So there's more liability with more money. So Abdurrahman ibn Auf radiallahu anhu, when he learned that this is a liability, having this kind of abundance of wealth, and he found out how to offset that and how to reduce his burden of liability. So he donated in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At one point, he had 8,000 dirham in total. So he donated half of his wealth, 4,000 dirham, in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Half of his liability is now gone. At another time, he donated 40,000 dirham. And then later on, he donated 40,000 dinar. And then a time came when he donated in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala 500 Arabian horses. Each horse was much more expensive than probably a set of camels. And then later on, Abdurrahman ibn Auf radiallahu anhu, he donated 1,500 camels fully laden with commercial merchandise. And even at that time, the moment he heard from Aisha radiallahu anha about that, the whole caravan that was coming into Medina, complete with the commercial merchandise, he went out and he said, I was going to make a lot of money from this, but I donate all of this in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he donated all of that, not just the camels, but all the merchandise that was loaded onto those camels. He donated all of that in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A few things that we can learn from this story of Abdurrahman ibn Auf radiallahu anh is that his willingness to use that wealth as a means to earn the nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you can. Wealth is not only a detriment. Yes, to some people this is a detriment. It takes them away from even civility. They don't even remain civil anymore because of the wealth. It makes them arrogant, like Fir'aun, like Qarun. It made them arrogant. And it took them out of that humanity and out of that civility that they were supposed to be in. Abdurrahman ibn Auf radiallahu anh made all of this money in business. And his business was all this commercial ventures, bringing merchandise from Syria, from Yemen, selling it in Medina, elsewhere, and then taking goods from here, taking it to Syria. All of this import and export and this trade was the business of Abdurrahman ibn Auf radiallahu anh. Even Uthman radiallahu anh, all the money that he made was from the business, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has preserved this secret of growth in business. The more you invest, the more you do business. So Abdurrahman ibn Auf radiallahu anh, he made all of that money in that way. And then he spent in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The more he spent, the more Allah gave him. The first time he spent 4,000. The next time he spent 40,000. And 40,000 was not half of what he had. 40,000 was probably 1/4 or less than 1/4 of what he had. And the next time he spent 40,000 dinar, and dinar is made of gold, dirham is made of silver. So that was even more. And that was not even half of his wealth. And the next time he gave 500 horses in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the following time he gave 1,500 camels in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The more you give, the more Allah gives it to you. That's the secret. If you hold back, Allah will hold back from you. If you spend more in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah makes a promise that He will not only replenish what you spend, He will give you back more, a lot more.